Most people still use ChatGPT as a question and answer box, but it now works in 3 very different levels: an everyday assistant, a reusable workspace, and an agent that can run tasks by itself. If you're still only using it for quick chats, this video has been made for you to help you get from prompting all the way to agent mode. By the end of this video, you should know how to master ChatGPT and really make your life and work way easier. If you're new to the channel, my name is Cian and I'm the AI productivity coach. And I recently did a Claude AI video, and the biggest comment and request after that was to do the same for ChatGPT. So that's what I'm doing here. And if this sounds like content you'd be interested in, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and join me on this journey. Let's start with the first level, an everyday assistant. And so assuming you know how to prompt ChatGPT, I'm just going to go through 4 quick wins that you can apply to your prompts to make them way better. And the first one is using a prompt framework. My one is the RICCE framework, and that stands for role, intent, condition, context, and example. So instead of prompting something like write a YouTube intro about ChatGPT projects, you can use the RICCE prompt framework to write a more robust prompt. So you basically write the prompt, give it a role, give it intent, the condition, context, and an example of what good looks like. And then you'll get a way better output than just a regular prompt. The second quick thing you can do is select the best model for what you're trying to do. So if you need deeper thinking, you can choose high. If you need a quick answer, you can choose instant. Just note that the higher the thinking level, the more tokens you use, and the less prompts you'll get with that. Another thing you can think about is adding web search to your prompt. So if you wanted to pull something directly from the web, make sure to select this on. And the fourth thing as well is that you can actually add files. Again, it might be a good way to give more context to your prompt before you run it. So there are 4 quick things you can do to improve your prompt depending on what you're trying to achieve. The next one is memory and custom instructions. You can basically go down to the left-hand corner, choose personalization. Once you're in here, you can give ChatGPT instructions to help make it more accustomed to the output that you want. So you can give a context on what you do or how you like the output to be. So for example, I could add, I run a YouTube channel called AI Productivity Coach here. You can also enable memory, and this basically lets ChatGPT personalize your experience based on your chats, files, and connected apps. And you can basically edit your memory as you go. So you can see here, you can add or update memory as you please. The next feature you might use is image creation. So you can basically select create image, add a prompt for whatever you want, hit enter, and if you wait a while, you'll get your image pretty swiftly. The images are pretty realistic. You can also just use it to test visual directions quickly before refining the final design. The next feature you might use is voice mode. So for example, you can just talk to ChatGPT like it's a normal chat. So let's say I want to ask voice mode, interview me about launching a course, 1 question at a time. Hold your recommendation until you understand my time, audience, and revenue goals.
All right, let's get clarity before jumping into advice. First, how much time are you realistically able to commit each week to launching and maintaining a course?
20 hours.
Got it. Now, who exactly are you targeting with this course? Give me a clear profile of your ideal audience.
Voice mode is a real spoken conversation, not dictation into text. It's really good for just talking on the go and sharing some ideas and then capturing them and having it more like a back and forth conversation, especially if you prefer to speak to ChatGPT rather than type. And for the record, I definitely don't have 20 hours spare.
No worries. Time is always tighter than we think, right?
So they're all the everyday assistant tools that I think most people are quite familiar with. So how do we upgrade to level 2, which is a reusable workspace? And the first thing you can look at is projects. A project is a dedicated workspace, and it combines dedicated instructions, files, and conversations for one area of work, so you stop rebuilding the same context every time you sit down to it. For example, for a content project, that's your audience details and past scripts, or this one, in my case, I have newsletter drafts project where I store all my newsletter drafts, and you can have individual conversations. You can also cite sources, so I have my brand guidelines here, and it knows exactly what I want to do. You can also give it a project name and instructions, so it knows exactly what you want. Project can also create memories based on the project itself, and it has all the context, so you can just add simple prompts to get done what you need. So for example, I can just simply say, draft me a newsletter on the coolest ChatGPT features. It has all the context within this project, so it's going to give me a pretty good draft based on all the context I've already given it. The more you chat in a project, the better it becomes as it updates the memory. And so this is a great place to work on something that you do on a continuous basis. For example, it could be a certain work stream, or it's really good if you want to separate it from the rest of the things that you're working on. So maybe you'll have separate projects for different clients that you're working with. The next feature you might want to look at is long drafts and code directly in chat. So this was actually a replacement for Canvas, which you may have been familiar with. But basically it creates an editable text block that you can have right here. So for example, if I want to change this, I can simply update it like that. This is great for when you just want to make small tweaks to something rather than reprompt it and getting a totally different answer. So this is really helpful if you have a long text block and you want to edit it and make small tweaks rather than having to reprompt every time. If you just need a short answer, then I just recommend using the chat itself. The next feature you should consider are custom GPTs. A custom GPT is a way to get ChatGPT to run a task in the same way each time. You give it some specs and it packages a repeatable way of working or thinking that other people can use without rebuilding the instructions themselves. You can also just have custom GPTs that are personal to you. So for example, I have an AI biz strategist that helps advise me on my business direction. It has loads of context on what I'm doing and has a certain way of answering in the way that I like. There are different ways to configure it, but you basically give it instructions. You can add conversation starters, and you can add knowledge documents, have a recommended model, choose the capabilities that it needs, and then also you can create actions now. There are also lots of public GPTs that you can use as well. You need to be on a paid plan in order to create your own GPTs, but on the free plan, you can use any of the public ones. And then when you want to use it, you can just tag it into a conversation, prompt it, and the GPT will get to work. Okay, so they are the core features when you want to use ChatGPT as a reusable workspace. But now let's move up to the next level, level 3, the active agent. And this covers everything that runs beyond just a single reply. So this could be working on a schedule, connecting to other apps that ChatGPT is allowed to, and agents that investigate and act. Starting off with tasks. Tasks are basically on the left-hand rail called scheduled. Tasks let ChatGPT run a prompt later once or on schedule without you opening a new chat. It's only available on the paid plan for now, not on the free plan. So for example, you could have a weekly checkpoint for your business on a certain day every week. And it will basically run the prompt that you have on a weekly basis, and you can be pretty flexible in how and when you want to run that. And then usually it shows up as a notification on your phone when it's been run. So a really easy way to run a specific task on a frequent basis without you having to go into ChatGPT and prompt it yourself every time. The next feature is apps. Apps basically expand which tools and information ChatGPT can work with, so you don't have to leave the chat to act on what it just gave you. So what it can do can depend on the app. So for example, here, Photoshop, you can edit and transform in images. Airtable, you can add structured data to ChatGPT. Spotify, music and podcasts for you. One that I use quite frequently is Canva. You can basically start a chat. So you might want to tag in the app itself. As you can see there, it's already tagged for me. Could you create a thumbnail for me for a video that looks at all of ChatGPT's features? And you can prompt it in plain language, and as you can see, it will open up Canva within ChatGPT and start working within that app for you without you having to even open the app itself. The next agentic feature you should consider is deep research. Deep research basically investigates across multiple sources on its own and returns a structured, cited report instead of you opening 20 different tabs. You just need to give it a specific question and a specific prompt, and it will find the sources to prioritize and run the report for you. In my own tests, I have actually found ChatGPT to be really good at deep research compared to some of the other tools. So it's really good at getting quite a broad research report looking at loads of different sources compared to some of the other tools like say Claude, which doesn't go as broad, but maybe they go slightly deeper. Once the report is ready, you get a pretty detailed report, which you can download, and you can always check the citations within the report. They're usually linked in those little numbers that you can see here. It can still misread a source, so verify anything important before you use the report. The next agentic item on the list is, would you believe, agent mode. So whereas deep research investigates, agent mode acts, gets its own browser, and works through multi-step tasks itself. So for example, you could give it a prompt, let's say, review the last 10 videos of different YouTube channels, log the title, views, date, thumbnail text, and visual style in a spreadsheet, then flag the 3 strongest recurring patterns. So this basically means agent mode will go off, try and find videos on different sites, pull that information and create a spreadsheet out of it. So pretty good information, came back with 3 patterns for this specific ask. So for me, it was package a specific outcome instead of a broad topic, make the title and thumbnail do different jobs instead of repeating each other, and then build recognizable series instead of one-off videos. Did miss exact view counts on a handful of the older videos, so I would treat the spreadsheet as a strong first draft, but pretty good considering it was a very simple prompt and it went off and did all the work for me. In my experience, it may pause for sensitive steps like logins or payments, so at that point you can actually take control of agent mode. Final agentic feature is Codex. So Codex is ChatGPT's specialist agent for software. It works inside an actual project, can change files, run code, and test its output. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to upload a CSV of my video performance and make it build a tool that shows my best topics on a chart by posting day. So you can use Codex to do the data analysis, which answers a question about the spreadsheet, and then Codex can turn that into something reusable. Always make sure to review what it builds before connecting it to anything important. So that was a whole load of features. Hopefully you have a good sense of how you can get to that agent mode in ChatGPT. But I've just created this quick decision framework to help you decide which feature to use when. So if you need a one-off question, you're best to just use a normal chat. If you need a current answer based on live data, you should enable web search. If you need to analyze documents or screenshots, you should use a regular chat and attach files. If you need something for ongoing work, I recommend using projects. If you're editing long documents, I recommend using the writing blocks in chat. If you have a prompt that you need to repeat on a regular basis, use tasks. Do you need a deep investigation? I recommend deep research. If you need to do a task with multiple steps involved, then I recommend agent mode. If you need to build or modify a software tool, then I recommend using Codex. Finally, if you have a reusable or shareable workflow, then a custom GPT is best for that. If you're starting out, I recommend just starting with the chat itself. And then as you get more comfortable, move on to level 2 and then level 3. And only add these features when you actually need them. If you don't need to build an app, you don't need to use Codex, even if everyone is talking about it. And if you're really not sure, even after that decision framework, I recommend just prompting ChatGPT and asking it what it thinks you need based on the context that you give it. So this is the ChatGPT ecosystem, all the way from everyday assistant to active agent. As I said, you probably don't need every single feature and tool here. Start with the ones that solve the problem directly in front of you. And then as you move on to different problems or more complex problems, expand it to the other features depending on what actually works for that problem. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to join me on this journey. I also have a weekly AI productivity newsletter and you can subscribe using the link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it and I'll see you in the next video.